You weigh 150 pounds. No claws, no venom, running speed, embarrassing. Your nearest competitor, the cave lion, weighs 700 pounds and hunts in the dark. By every physical metric, you are the prey. So why are you still here? The story you've been told is that we survived by getting smart. Big brains beat big teeth. That's the tidy version. The record shows something messier and more violent. Intelligence alone doesn't keep a 150-pound ape alive on an open savanna. What kept you alive was something older than language, older than fire. It was the pack as weapon. Here's the actual claim. Early humans didn't outlast predators by outrunning them or outfighting them one-on-one. They survived by turning collective action into the single most dangerous force on the landscape. Archaeological sites, animal bone assemblages, and comparative primate studies all point the same direction. The pack wasn't just protection, it was offense. That's the part nobody warns you about. The pack as weapon. Hold that image. A completely filled silhouette. No individual face, just the shape of a group moving as one. That's your ancestors. That's why you exist. Every other survival strategy, tools, fire, language, plugged into this one root. Remove the collective and every other advantage collapses. 2 million years ago, early Homo lived alongside short-faced bears, saber-toothed cats, and giant hyenas that could crack bone with a single bite. The fossil record shows repeated evidence of hominin bones bearing predator marks. We were on the menu regularly, but something shifts in the archaeological record around 400,000 years ago. Coordinated big game hunting sites appear, where multiple animals were driven, cornered, and killed together. Not one hunter, a team. The trick is that cooperation doesn't just multiply individual strength, it multiplies it exponentially. 10 humans working as a coordinated unit don't fight like 10 humans. They fight like something that has no natural predator. Ancient genome analysis confirms that human populations were in near constant movement and contact, which means the pack wasn't fixed. It was fluid, absorbing new members, sharing tactics, spreading innovations across vast distances. The pack as weapon wasn't one group's trick. It was the species' core operating system. The bone sites don't lie. At Schoningen, Germany, researchers found 300,000-year-old wooden throwing spears alongside horse bones, showing coordinated butchery, multiple animals killed in a single event. You don't do that alone. At sites across the Levant, mammoth remains show fracture patterns consistent with group drives over cliffs or into bogs. And where we can't find direct evidence of the hunt, we find the absence of large predator remains near hominin camps, which itself is data. Something was keeping the lions back. That something was the pack. Here's what the record actually shows, stacked against what you'd assume. You'd think bigger predators won. Early hominins eventually flipped the relationship. Neanderthals hunted cave bears, animals twice their size. You'd think isolation was safety. Wrong. Isolated communities were the most vulnerable. Lake Baikal, 5,500 years ago, small separated hunter-gatherer groups were devastated by plague outbreaks. Connection and collective scale were the shield, not the threat. You'd think weapons were the great equalizer, but the spear only matters if someone has your back while you throw it. The weapon was always secondary to the pack holding it. You signed for every line of this logic the moment your ancestors chose to stay together instead of scatter. Here's the consequence that echoes into right now. The same collective architecture that kept early humans alive became the template for every complex society that followed. Villages, cities, trade networks, all of it is the pack at scale. And when that collective fabric frays, the vulnerabilities rush back in. The Bronze Age collapse, 3,200 years ago, didn't kill interconnected civilizations from the outside alone. It killed them when the networks that made them powerful suddenly stopped functioning. The pack fragmented. The predators, drought, invasion, famine, walked in. Complexity became the weakness the moment coordination broke. So what does the corrected record actually reveal? That human survival was never about the individual hero. You didn't fail at being a lone predator. You succeeded at being a collective one. The myth of the solitary genius, the lone hunter, that's a story told after the fact, layered over a deeper truth the bones keep showing us. Every innovation, fire, language, agriculture, spread because the pack carried it forward. The invisible scaffold under all of human history isn't intelligence, it's coordination. Go back to the beginning. You, 150 pounds, no claws, standing on an open plain while a 700-pound predator scans the grass. You know what's different now? You can see the shape around you, the silhouettes at your side, the pack you couldn't perceive at first, because you were looking for a single hero. That's the trap. You were always part of the weapon. You just didn't know it was you.